walking through like a supermarket, and just some random person would just start talking to you. You're not even you're not even saying anything. They don't hear our conversation. They just start talking to you.
Start talking.
It's like, can you not?
Did you ever met Alec, Jai's friend? Looks like a crow.
Yeah, I have met him. I haven't spoken to him much.
Okay, really nice guy. But Jai, him, a co-worker of theirs, and I went out for lunch in the city one time, and we were just walking through the city Coles. You know, you can go like one way, and you go through it, and you end up some other place in the city.
Sure, yeah.
If you go through the whole store, because there's like 2 exits. As we were walking through one of the aisles, and we were just looking at a couple of things, this weird old lady comes up to us, and she's like, "Excuse me, you look like smart young chaps." And it's like, "Oh fuck, here we go." And I assure you, this is not a fake thing, and there was no prompt to this conversation. Bloody Jai and his other friend, who I can't remember the name of, sorry, random guy, they just snuck off as Alec and I were ensnared in the witch's trap. This lady starts talking to us about, I can't even remember what medication it is, like something like paracetamol or something like that. It's like, paracetamol and sulfites inside of it. Did you know that they make your legs fat? I was like, what are you fucking on? And she starts just, we're trying to, I don't want to be rude to an old lady and stuff like that. So Alec and I, we don't know what to do in this situation. Yeah. But we're like, no, I'm not sure what you mean. And she's like, I think we need to get those scientist people and into a conversation, ask them about what the sulfites are doing. I was like, I don't understand. What sulfites? What fucking shit is she on about? And there was no escaping. She was following us, and we were like sitting, and we have to go meet up with our friends. She was like walking with us, talking about it. And I was the only way we got out of the situation, I think we pointed out a worker there, and he's like, perhaps they can help you with the question. She's like, oh, okay. Walks off, and Alec and I just fucking yeet. We're out of there.
And that reminds me of the one time I was back before I drove. I would be catching the train to work all the time, and I was sitting at the train station once, and this old dude, he started talking to me. He was wearing like a conductor's cap. And he started talking about he started talking about the trains that Adelaide uses and like the history of Adelaide trains.
Oh my god!
I'm like, well, I don't care. Piss off.
And sometimes those conversations are really cool. You have like a really like wise old man who entertains you for the trip.
It went for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I had a book that I was going to read. Like, I don't care about the trains. Nothing he was saying was crazy. It was just all train history. Like, if you walk into like a train museum and you just have like a guide walking you through the train museum, that's what it was.
Yeah, okay, that's not a super ideal thing. I mean, I've had a couple random, like, obviously if I have something to occupy myself, like a book or something like that, that would be better. I'd like to focus on that. But if I'm just sitting there waiting for a bus or a train, or I'm taking either somewhere, I don't mind necessarily if some random person has a chat with me. There's not usually too many situations where that doesn't spawn from a really awkward situation. But, if they happen and it's good, it's good. Sometimes I've had awesome chats with bus drivers too. But there's been a couple elderly people who, like, for whatever reason, they started talking to me. I guess because old-fashioned way, they'd like to talk to someone at the bus stop while they wait. And, I entertain that. So I usually listen to what they have to say. A couple of times, really awesome conversations. I like walk away from that situation. I was like, man, I feel so much wiser. Of course, probably the next day I forget what the hell they were talking about. But at the time, it was like, actually fulfilling conversation. I think you should not always be against a conversation with a stranger on a bus or on a train. Sometimes it's worth it. Not always. Sometimes it's an absolute regrettable mistake. But don't always shy away from it. But some of those conversations were pretty awesome.
Speaking of books, have you read my book yet? Have you? You still haven't read it, have you?
I read like a couple chapters and then I just never touched it again. And I keep thinking, because I see it there with other books that I'm supposed to read, and it's like, I should just give that back to Brody because I want to read it, but I just never do.
Yeah, for context, I lent Sam a copy of 12 Rules for Life, and he just hasn't read it yet.
Yeah, I mean, the first parts, I loved what I read.
When did I give that to you?
A long time ago.
Almost 2 years, I reckon.
I think so. I should just give it back to you. I'd probably be better off. Because, I'm going to be honest, I'm reading another book. I didn't even continue reading your book. I just moved on to a different book. And it's not even that I didn't enjoy the book. I read, like, what I read of that. I was like, that's awesome. I loved it. I just don't know why I moved on and never came back to it. I keep seeing it as well. I was like, I should read that.
So you just have it in a place where you can even see it. It's not like you put it somewhere and just
I can see it right now. That's just in this corner here with some other books. Like fucking, I've got H.P. Lovecraft. I don't even know if I want to read that. Like,
oh my fucking god,
interesting man's mind, and inspires a lot of fantasy and stuff nowadays. But I don't know if reading that humongous, gargantuan amalgam of different stories is going to be for me. So instead, I'm reading a bloody young adults book at the moment. I'm reading the How to Train Your Dragon series.
Oh, nice.
Because there's a missed childhood for me reading that book series, and to be honest, it holds up. As a young adults book, probably designed for young teenagers and stuff like that. I've only read the first book. It took me like literally just a few hours to read the first book. Didn't take long at all, and that's for someone who hasn't read it. Only just recently picked up reading after a while of not doing it. Wasn't hard at all. I think young adult books are actually pretty awesome, even if you read them at an older age. Like some of them, if they hold up, there's humor that you find that you didn't, encounter or probably wouldn't have encountered as you're younger. And there's just, I don't know, a level of writing to it. If it's a good author, it's gonna be good for any age.
For sure. Yeah, for me, I've got this right here. 12th volume of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
I watched the anime.
It's really good. Season 2, less so. Season 3 will be better, hopefully.